Right, hello everybody, Adam Clery for you from ACFC, and the clock on both the transfer window and indeed your life is now deafening in its ticking, so it's time to look at what would be the second weirdest transfer of this window, if it happens. Alejandro Garnacho going to Chelsea, who, and this has rumbled on all summer, are positively gagging for him for some reason. 144 games for Man United at 21 years old is really impressive, but 26 goals in that time is less so, and that is before you even consider the, how do I put it, perceived issues with both his attitude and maturity and the state of that bonnet. So welcome to a video that I am unofficially dubbing "What do Chelsea see here that I don't?" Alright, so before we start here, two quick things I must confess to you. First of all, I will attempt to remain partial throughout this video. However, I do find him a bit scary to look at. Like a haunted doll in a slasher film. I'm genuinely worried I'm going to wake up one night and there'll be a little, like, 2-foot version of him standing in the doorway holding the claw hammer, and I don't like that.
Alejandro Garnacho.
And secondly, and this one's quite cool, this video is being produced in partnership with our good friends at FOTMob, which is absolutely class. No intrusive 90-second advert. You've probably already got the app on your phone. I literally do, and we're just going to be using their metrics throughout this video. So if you see the stuff in it and you think, oh, that's cool, I would like to have access to that, you can. It's on FOTMob, who are brilliant and we love, and there's a link to download the app in the description. Right then, so why do Chelsea want Alejandro Garnacho? Well, it's very early days this season. We've only played 2 games at the time of me recording this, but so far, this is every player they've used in every single position in their 4-2-3-1. So it's pretty much 2 players for every single position, except they haven't yet had cause to change the goalkeeper. Although some people might argue, well, they bloody well should have done, and Romeo Lavia is injured. He would probably be in the same place as Caicedo. Now, it's a deep squad, isn't it? I do think it could probably use a real top-level centre-back just to make everybody here's lives that little bit easier. But if you were looking to add someone to it, you could make the argument that there is a vacancy here. And the reason for that, pretty straightforward, is these are the shooting stats via our pals at FOTMob for the 2 players that have thus far ended up on the left-hand side. First, Jamie Gittins last season in the Bundesliga, and these are pretty good. I think he's getting his shots away, he's getting a lot of them on target, and 12 goals in all competitions, I think, is really, really good. But the thing about when things were different is that it is when things were different.
You have got Barcelona at home in one of your games.
Have we?
Yes.
Fucking game.
And they're drawing all of them, yeah. They're drawing all the pot 1 teams, and you've got Barca at you've got Barca at them, so.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So if Gittins is, as we assume, here to be plan A, then what he'll actually be doing is going onto the touchline, where he is also really, really good. He's great at isolating a fullback. He can stretch your opposition defences. He can go around them and cross with his left foot. And crucially, he leaves this channel open in case Fernandez wants to push up into it. He's very good at that. Or whoever's playing number 10, say it's João Pedro, wants to float across into it. Therefore, Gittins' primary role in this team is not to be a direct goal threat. And even if he was, he's sort of on the wrong foot to be effective doing it. However, over here is Pedro Neto. Now, look, despite being left-footed, he's played more games in his career on that left-hand side. Or rather, he had until last season. That was the first time in his career that a manager has used him on the right more than he has used him on the left. So it's clear that Maresca has no qualms about playing him on the left-hand side, but he does see him as a right-handed side player, first and foremost. Now, because, like Gittins, despite playing on the opposite side of their strong foot, where naturally players would cut in, they are instructed to hug the touchline and stay wide. He can leave gaps for Notting Hill Carnival regular, yeah, we all saw that photo, Cole Palmer, to play in his favoured position. It's the same thing on both sides. So in Chelsea's strongest 11, which let's remember is never actually a real thing, you've got two players that despite this are instructed to stay wide and hug the left and right touchline and leave room for a Pedro, for a Fernandes, for a Palmer, whoever, to play in these channels. They're naturally on the right side. It allows you to do that. So where then does Alejandro Garnacho fit into all of this? Well, the other options Maresca has used on these sides have been, as discussed, the left-footed Pedro Neto on the left, but also the left-footed Estevao on the right. And they wound up with this exact combination against West Ham after Palmer dropped out with the injury, and you can see how that works so well in the Neto goal. Like you can see here, he's giving no thought whatsoever to dragging Wan-Bissaka out into the wide area to stretch the defence. In his mind here, he is a forward and he gets in at the back post and scores. But then you look at Estevao for the Fernandes goal and you see that even better. Like you go and run that thing all the way back to when Delap holds the ball, a right-footed forward would go this way around him, try and beat his man and hang something up to the back post. But Estevao, on that side and on that foot, actually completely changes direction to get his run inside the lap and drive at goal. And rather than getting them a big hung-up cross for someone to stick their bean on, that gets them a tap in. So basically, just to recap here and make it 1,000 times more simple than I have been doing, Maresca clearly wants two options on each side, primarily to stretch out defences to allow 2 10s to support the centre forward. But as an alternative option to that, he wants players on their wrong foot, so a left on the right and a right on the left, who will themselves play closer to the centre forward to allow for overlapping runs from the fullback. So both ways, you end up with 5 across the front and then combinations of 2 and 3 here, but you get different players doing different things. And what, to my dear friends, is Alejandro Garnacho? Well, he is, I'll give it to him, one of the best players in the Premier League in the category of right-footed, left-sided players. The guy absolutely loves to attack the goal, and you stack his shooting numbers up against the other lads on that side, and even last season, when he felt like such a bad fit for everything Amorim was trying to do, he's still getting really high volume of shots away. And if you go back to the season before, when he was in a more suitable system, he's one of the league's leading players for getting touches in the box and winning penalties. So letting him come off the flank and get a goal, there are genuinely few better. Like, these are his shot maps across the last 2 seasons. And do you know what? You're right, they do look absolutely lovely. That's FOTMOB, in case you're wondering. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And the concentration of effort in this inside left channel is really something. Like, you stack that up next to his chance creation numbers, and you'll see he's not really offering you much else or an intelligent system player. But if you allow him into this space here when he's coming off that flank and there's somebody overlapping with him, like, I don't personally think there's a lot to Garnacho's game, but it's clear that the things he does really well, and more importantly, those are things that would appear to be of interest to Chelsea. I could see them using him quite well. So yeah, you go back to that Chelsea squad building and you add Garnacho to it, and I do think it gives you really nice symmetry across both sides. You've got 2 players who can do 2 different things in those 2 different positions. However, there is a fairly major downside, in my opinion, to getting him. Now, these are the 2 goals that Garnacho scored against Chelsea for Man United. You may well remember them. And in both of them, he comes off that left flank to attack the goal directly, just like we've been saying. Now, the impressive thing here is the drive and the determination he has to make these chances exist purely out of how much he wants to score them. Which doesn't feel like great English, but you get what I mean. Like, 2 goals, more or less out of nothing, purely because he's been direct in quite an open game. That is what Chelsea are buying him for, and hands up, he's very good at that. But they also conceded that night from this position. Garnacho is sat on Palmer, clearly an instruction, and he jumps from him to Gusto. Now, Dalot does the right thing here. When Garnacho moves, he steps up, he nicks the ball back, and it looks like Man United can get a breakaway here. They might be on a score. Like, look at Garnacho. He smells an opportunity here, and he is off like a rat up a drain pipe. But then Man United actually mess the pass up and give it back, and now you have got to get back onto Gusto. You can't let him just run into that space and, oh, actually, never mind. Chelsea have messed it up as well. No harm, no foul. So yeah, that Chelsea attack's dead now. So if you're Garnacho, you can just sort of stand here and do nothing if you really want to. Which is exactly what he does. And he goes from having his hands physically on Gusto to 3 seconds later being that far away from him. And if you're wondering when this goes in, because a lot has to happen and there's other players involved, is that really his fault? Well, Dallo not only shoots him daggers when he realises he hasn't tracked back, see him doing that here, but as soon as the ball ends up at the back of the net, he turns to him and he does this. This is a player who will physically throw his face into boots and fists to try himself to get a goal, but thinks tracking back and defending is for nerds and wants no part of it. Like, these are his defensive numbers last season, and yes, you're right, FOTMob again, love that for them, and they probably look exactly the same as if I won a competition and got to play 10 Premier League games. He intercepts, he picks up loose balls, and he gets at you in the final third, sure, because you can get a chance and maybe a goal out of doing that. But everything else, he will simply just stand with his thumb up his arse while someone else has to deal with it. So to answer the question posed at the start of the video, what did Chelsea see in him? Well, an excellent attacking option that I think really does give them good balance to their squad overall. But what do I see in him? Not a bloody enough. That's what. Like, if I'm Chelsea, I can absolutely find a use for him. Like, at the stuff he is good at, he is very, very good at it. But the stuff he's not good at this level, little bit of a liability. Just my opinion, just my opinion. So yes, there you go. Nice little video for everyone who says my transfer videos are always positive for some reason. I just don't do videos on the transfers, I think. Might be bad. Seems like a waste of time. But this one was interesting nonetheless, so we'll see. Perhaps he'll prove me wrong. Perhaps he is a haunted doll and will slash me up while I sleep one night. Who knows? Once again, enormous thank you to our actual in real life personal friends at FOTMob who have made, in my opinion, just the best app for keeping up with your scores and stuff. I asked them if they wanted me to say anything. They said, just be natural and be honest. So that is naturally honest on my part. I think it's a great app. And if you've not got it, you should. But Chelsea fans, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Are you excited? Would you start him? Is it Gittins for you? Is it Neto? Do you have some crazy other formation that sees him involved up front? I don't know. All thoughts and feelings welcome. And please do subscribe to us here on ACFC and me on all the social medias too. Because, I don't know, let's get parasocial with it. Why the hell not? That's it. That's the end of the video. That's Alejandro Garnacho. This is Chelsea. I'll see you on transfer deadline day. Bum bum bum. Bye.